Hi, welcome to the Nebtek Lightning demo. The Nebtek Lightning is a 2-channel DVR that is half rack wide and 2 rack units high. As for the connectors on the back, we have audio in, left and right, audio out, left and right, HDMI, Ethernet, 12 volt over 4-pin XLR, SDI in channel 1, SDI out channel 1, SDI in channel 2, SDI out channel 2, and external reference. There are also 2 USB ports here, as well as a Thunderbolt output. In addition, there's a USB connector on the front, as well as a FireWire 800 connector. Okay, so here's the Lightning in its natural habitat on a video cart. This is the way we'll be using it. I'm going to go ahead and start the Qtake Lite software here. This is a touchscreen based system, so it's set up for touchscreen. Of course, it can be operated with a mouse. I'm going to be taking you step by step through all of the different areas of this software and showing you how it works. This is the desktop of the Lightning. I'm going to go ahead and start the Qtake Lite program here. And I'll say no to this question because the first thing we want to do is set up a new user. VTR op. Okay. I never put a password in myself. I like to keep my system open. New project. Okay, and then my input here is selected to the DeckLink SDI input. I also have the choice here to set my camera model. In this case, I'm going to be using video recorders to feed this, so I don't need to select the camera model. However, if I did, then it would allow me to use the option to read the SDI data. This would be for start-stop flags and so on and so forth. Over here, we can also select the audio. Most of the time on the Lightning, I select built-in input for the audio, but since I'm using that to record this, I will leave this on SDI audio input. There are 2 rooms in Qtake Lite. There's the file room and the shoot room. I'm going to start in the file room. This is where we set up our project. And so the menu tabs, when I'm talking about menu tabs, I'm always referring to these ones on the bottom of the screen here. So we have Qtake, which just basically is this shutdown button and the time remaining on the disk. We have the user and the project, which we've already set up. We also have info. In the info here, you can click in and look and see whether or not you have a dongle attached and where the license is here. And then we have our project setup screen, which we were looking at before. The options, there's a few options here that I'm going to refer to in detail. The rest can be looked up in the manual. The first is disk after record. This is the default setting of Qtake. My preference is no on this. I don't want it to automatically go to playback as soon as it finishes recording. The other one we're going to want to use is camera auto record. This would be a feature we'd be looking at if we had a camera attached and had selected a camera model. That would be the SDI flags. You can also do auto record run based on time code. If you have a camera that starts and stops time code when you quit the camera. There's an arrow here that gives you more selections. The other one that I'm going to mention is the show keyboard. I leave this in the yes position. The reason for that is if this doesn't show the keyboard when I'm in a field where I need to edit the contents of that field, then you can accidentally think that maybe you're back to the standard mode, but you're actually, the focus is in that field, and so therefore the shortcut keys, like for record, for example, might not work. So I leave this on. I know others have their preferences. Some people leave this off. Okay, the view tab is just about these views, whether it's view 1, view 2, is highlighted, and whether or not it's single or dual view. I'll go ahead and leave this in dual view. Import. This gives us the ability to import and link, which I will go through in more detail. The report tab gives us the ability to create a PDF report and screenshots or dual screenshots. Network tab gives us the ability to create a network connection between multiple Qtake units and be able to control one from the other. The crew is simply that information of the production and the camera crew. This allows me to control the Blackmagic video hub that's in my cart. It's a 16 by 16 video router. If we go in the setup menu, you can see that we've labeled our camera inputs, our director monitor outputs, cart monitor, and the lightning in and outs. So that's it for the file room. I'm going to go to the shoot room. Every one of these menu tabs can be positioned above or below the video windows. And so this up and down arrow indicates that and whether or not it's positioned above or below. So for my layout, I like to just go ahead and turn all these off and select the clip first, and I want to put that up above my clip. Then I like to have my audio tab open. Next, I'm going to put the play head control up there, the control, which gives me my information on my camera speed and whether or not the playback is looping and whether or not I have clip sync or play sync turned on, and then my slider, which gives me the ability to zip back and forth in the position of the playhead. My in points and out points, and also my thumbnail can be put here. Whatever you select for a thumbnail is what will end up on your PDF report. And let's see, I may also want to have the data tab open up here. And then I like to have my video hub control down below. Maybe the same for my quad and video out menus. So I can go ahead and put those there. I don't really use chapters or slider that much. Now if I want to save this layout, I can go ahead and lock it. And once it's locked, when I click the tab, no longer does it open and close that. Now with that locked, I'll just show you. If I turn the notes, for example, the data on and off, it would be taking that off the screen. If I left these on and clicked on them, I could end up rearranging the windows in the way I don't want them. So I'll go ahead and put the lock on. And then I can save layouts. There's a layout for, there's up to 8 layouts can be saved here. So I can go ahead and do a long click on this and title this layout. And I'm just going to go ahead and call this one Gaylen. And so that's my layout. If you select the function key on a Mac keyboard, you will see that it reveals the shortcut for each key visually on the screen. So there is a shortcut for just about everything in Qtake, and you can also program shortcuts. I'm going to go back over to the file room here and go into the project tab, and you'll see that if I hold down the function key, Shift P is the shortcut for the project. So I'm going to remember that. I use Shift P all the time. So Shift P, and we bring up the project room, and now I can go ahead and detect. I'm on input 1 here, and I'll go ahead and hit detect, or the letter D for short. Again, I can hold down the function key and see that it's a D is for detect. And also I can then copy that to all, or come over here and manually detect the other side. I'll go ahead and detect that, and there. Now we have video coming into our system. The first thing that we're going to want to do is put the scene number in. So we'll put in scene number 28 here, and it's take number 1. The roll is A1. The other thing I need to show you is that wherever you have a round little dot in the corner of the button, it means that there's a long click in that button. For example, the on-screen display here can be turned on and off by simply clicking, but if I do a long click, then it brings up the controls for that tab. I'm going to go ahead and turn off the time code and the speed and the rating here. So I just have my camera status scene and take. And I'm going to go ahead and copy that to the other view. So both my on-screen displays on both sides are showing the same way. And now I'm ready to go ahead and record. I'm going to take this out of the dual view mode because I'm only doing one camera now. And so I go ahead and hit record. And I can go ahead and mark an endpoint wherever I would like, for example, at the action point, ready and action, and I can mark an endpoint. And I can mark an out point, and I can have multiple endpoints and out points if I'd like. Of course, this clip doesn't really call for it, but I'm able to do that. I can go ahead and stop recording at any time simply by hitting the record button. Again, the function key reveals that that's the R key, so I'll go ahead and hit R and stop recording.
Let me see that one back.
Now, if the director wants to see a playback, all I have to do is hit the space key, and it'll start playing back the last take from the endpoint.
And here's your playback.
And now, breaking news that is causing many nations and local citizens concern.
Now, I'll go back to live. Essentially, we can have two independent recorders. I could go over to my other recorder, and I can record on that. And I'll go ahead on this and show you, let's say I want to make, for example, some endpoints and some out points on this. So let's say I want to say endpoint right there. And I'll go out here. And then if I want to pick it up again, let's say another endpoint ready and action again. And there's an endpoint. And there's another out point. And I'll do that one more time. So I have 3 sets of endpoints and out points. So we can see that we can come back to an endpoint and play into to out. Go ahead and stop recording here. And again, spacebar begins the playback. And so right now it's selected to play one. Right here it says play one and loop. Now if I press and hold that play one, it'll turn to play all. And as you can see, it's playing all of the 3 pieces that we have selected here. It can do that and play them all in a looping fashion. I'm going to go ahead and skip forward to take number 5. And we'll record that. And this way we'll have a few clips recorded. Now, since I'm only in one camera mode, I could turn that off, dual view, and just be viewing the one camera that we're dealing with right now. And I'll go ahead and cut it here. Now, as I mentioned before, you can hit the spacebar and it'll immediately begin playing back the last clip from the endpoint that you've marked, or from the head of the clip if you didn't mark an endpoint. The other way that we can view clips is the previous and next keys will take us to the previous and next recorded clips. So this will cycle us through the previous clips that we have recorded. Also, we can bring up the list view. In the list view, we see the clips that we have. I have take number 1, 2, and 5 here. If I scroll through this list, I can see it brings me up a little thumbnail of those, so I can select the clip that I want to see and load it up and play it back. Okay, we'll go ahead and go back live. I'm going to close my list view and bring up a dual view here. And now I'm recording 2 cameras. So to record 2 cameras, I'm going to want to put it in sync. Now I'm going to put that in sync, and it's going to ask me if I want to bring this clip name over to the other one, and I said yes to that. So let's call this scene 101. Okay, and I can go ahead and record, and you'll see I'm recording on both cameras. I can mark multiple endpoints, so there's an endpoint, an out point, and they say they go again, endpoint, and an out point, and I'll mark one more endpoint and out point here so we can see how that plays back. I'll go ahead and stop recording now, and when I select playback, it'll play back. It's set here to play all. Now if they wanted, for example, to loop just this middle piece, I could do a long click there and change it to play one. Now it's just going to loop that one little piece that I had recorded there. Okay, now we recorded those 2 clips together. So if we want to see them played back together, what we need to do is make sure that the clip sync is turned on. So that when I go to the previous clip, it'll show that the previous clip there was no other camera. The next clip, there were 2 cameras in there recorded at the same time, and here you can see it's brought up both cameras and it'll play those back in play sync. Go back live and do another recording here. And I'm recording now. And I can make a note here if I'd like to make camera notes. They can be entered in here. Okay, great take. whatever I want to put in there. I can add clips, notes into my clips that will show up later on in my list. The camera information can be input here. The shot information can be input here. And the camera media file name will input here if we had the file media file name coming over the SDI line from, like, for example, Red Camera or an Alexa. I can also play back in reverse if I want. I'm going to go ahead and stop recording, do a playback here, and tell it instead of playing back forward, I want it to play back reverse. And so it's going to play back those clips for me in reverse. So I'll go back to the previous clip where I have, one of the previous clips where I have these 3 inputs. And notice here that I've got a mark, and so I can use the mark to jump to the next or previous section that I want to play. And again, a long click puts me into play all, and that'll loop all 3 of those pieces together. The next piece of information here is your camera time base. The camera is set to 23,976, so the camera speed is set to 23,976 at 100%. So if I wanted to go at, say, 48 frames per second here, I could open this up, select 48 frames per second, and now it's playing at half speed slow motion. And that can be dialed into exact. If I want to put this exactly at 50% speed, then it's going to calculate this frame rate to 47.952 frames per second. Now, let's say I wanted to change the sync relationship between these 2 clips. I'm going to go ahead and stop here, back my clip up. So let's say that just where I cut from the dinosaur tail to the people walking, I want to mark an endpoint right there, and then I want to turn off my play sync. So let's say that just as those people start walking, on the other camera is right where we cut to the inside of this shot of the dinosaur. So I want to cut right there to that. And so I'm going to go ahead here and just click in this area right here, and it'll select an offset. You can see 276 frame offset. And so now if I back this up a little bit and go ahead and play this, that those 2 will play together in the sync relationship that I've established. Let me just reset these endpoints again so I can go back to that and play that. And you'll see that it is now playing back in our new sync relationship. This is really handy for putting together certain types of effects and edits that are needed to be done on set. I can go ahead and put my play speed now back. If I just do a long click, it'll open this up for me, and I can put my camera speed back. Okay, now I'm going to walk through how to import clips in Qtake. First of all, I'll go ahead and hide Qtake, and then I will open up these clips that I have here to import. I'm going to grab one clip and just drag it right onto the Qtake icon on the dock here, and I have a choice to import this or to link it. If I import it, it'll start copying the file into the project folder. If I link it, I can actually leave the files where they are and work with them from there. So it depends if you want to keep these all in one place or not, and you want to make a copy of them. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and hit import, and it'll import that clip. Now, I've got 3 more clips I want to import. So what I want to do is open up my media folder where the Qtake HD projects are. Select the Lightning Demos, which is the project I'm working in right now. I'm going to open its media folder, and you can see the clip that we just imported is in here. These other 3 clips, I'm going to manually copy them using Finder, and then I will link these instead. So I do this because Finder shows me quickly and easily how long it's taking to import. If I had a lot of clips, I might want to let that happen entirely in the background while I'm still working, and then come over and grab the clips, and then I just want to bring them down to the Qtake icon on the dock and hit link, and it will then link those clips. So now if I open my list, I can see the clips that I just imported. They're right here, these clips, and the other one is on the other drive over here. The other way we can look at clips is with the browser. If I click on the browser, it'll open up this view, and I can select in here my clips by scene number. Of course, I only have a few different scenes here, but this gives me the A camera and the B camera shot. So remember, I recorded these two together as if they were one. You'll see the ID rating is the same on both of these clips, so I know that these were recorded together at the same time. These clips will play back in clip sync. Now, I can look at other clips that I have. Here's two different clips actually from two different projects, both called 101 or 106 rather. I've got this imported clip here, and then I've got these clips I recorded earlier here. So you can select all or none cameras if you'd like to do that. You can also search for a shot by scene name, search for 101, boom, brings me to 101 and all the shots. If you use multiple shots, you can have shots listed under here as well. There's a lot of capability in the browse window. This select button gives us the ability to select a number of clips. So I could select a couple of clips here, and I could add them. I could either say to file, which would be outputting them to a file, to a reference, which would put them into a reference. I'm going to put them in a reference folder. And now when I go over here to my reference folder, those two clips are in my reference folder. So anything that I want to store for reference later, let's see, like maybe I'll add this to my reference folder as well, to reference. And now I've got those three shots in my reference folder, these two and that one. Okay. Also, if I wanted to select shots, for example, like here, and then let's say I want to actually call these all 201. So I can select all these shots and hit edit multi-data, and I could just change the scene number to 102. And now all of those shots are now called 102, and you can see this now is 102 over here. So next I'm going to go through the DVE. So for example, if I want to blow up a shot, reposition it in the frame, something like that, that they want to be able to then match this to something else, I'm able to make those kinds of adjustments quickly and easily, changing the scale, the size, the position, and even the rotation of a shot, and that can all be done in here, flipping and flopping. So that's what the DVE is for. I could copy this to the other view, boom, and then it would adjust the other view as well. I'll close this now and so see that I can just turn on and off that DVE effect right here on the screen for each of the views. Okay, the next thing I'm going to cover is the still mix. The still mix gives you the ability to select a still and be able to do a dissolve or a chroma key with that still. So I'll take this, I'll select a still frame, and then I can simply just do a crossfade, a dissolve between one camera or the other camera. Or I can do a chroma key. And so let's say, for example, that I want to chroma key this image into this frame. I'm going to go ahead and grab the color picker, pick blue here. I'm going to adjust my levels because I don't want this actually keying through the green in the background. I'm trying to key only the image. That's on the screen. So adjust these levels till I get where I want to be. Okay, and now that my key is set, then I can go ahead and, if I want, I can adjust this image here by, I can flip it, I can flop it, we can increase or decrease the size. I want to go ahead and just scale it down a little bit. So I'm going to bring it to about here, and then I'm going to go ahead and rotate the image the other way. And now I want to move it up in the frame a little bit. And move it over just a little bit as well. Get the crosshairs in the middle. And then I'm going to go ahead and scale it out just a little bit more to get more of the frame in. Okay, so now that I've got this lined up, I can go ahead and output that, and that will be going out to the set in real time to the monitor view. If I want, I could record this frame, and then I would be able to bring it back in on my other channel and do another key, for example, keying out the green in the background there. One thing I should point out is that this doesn't have to be two stills. The camera can obviously be live. For example, if I scroll through this clip, you can see if that was a camera instead of a playback in there, and it can be either a playback or the live camera coming through when you're doing this key. And that will be going out to the set in real time on the video output. And still mix is also available for both views. So I could be doing another still mix over here with another shot in the other view. You can send the video out using process video out. So if I wanted to output this channel, vout number 1, process 1, I'd select that to yes. The other thing that we should cover here, I'm going to come back to the file room and show you that you can also import, if you want, media just by looking through your hard drives and selecting the clip that you'd like to import. Select that clip and it can be imported right here. We'll go ahead and cancel that, but you can import it. You can link also. You can also import an entire project from another Qtake system, and it'll bring in all the information that you're importing with all of your notes and in-points and out-points and all of the data that was in that original Qtake project. On the report tab here, the PDF report gives us the ability to show in a PDF form all the metadata we've been working with in Qtake. So I'm going to go ahead and select clips that have no filters, clips that are imported or linked, and that gives me all the clips that are in my project. And I'll say yes to that, and Qtake will then generate the report. The report can now be located. I should also show this while I'm there, that I can do a screenshot one side or the other side. I can do a screenshot, or I can do a dual screenshot. So now when we hide Qtake and come back over to the project, you'll see that in the project I also now have these two folders, reports and screenshots and dual screenshots. So you can see screenshot is just a JPEG of those clips that I just printed out quickly. In the reports folder, you see if we open this up, you'll be able to see the PDF report. And this contains the name of the project. Any information that might have been entered in the crew tab will be there. The file clip name, the speed of it, the shot type, all the metadata that's associated with Qtake, your time codes in and out. Lots of information here, and a little thumbnail of each shot, project report. So there you have it. There's the PDF report. The other thing I love about Qtake is that you can always hide the application and say, for example, check my email or edit using Final Cut Pro. It's a full DC-powered Mac Mini at your disposal. So that's it for the Nebtek Lightning demo. Thanks for watching.